How you doing? So I'm back in London. I've got several hours to kill and it's relatively low tide and I'm not far from the river. So I thought we might go mudlarking again. See if we can find a pipe bowl. Nice bit of railway line. Wonder how long that's been there. If you ever do come down to the Thames and you start looking for interesting finds, mudlarking is known as, you're almost guaranteed to find two things at least. The first is oyster shells. There are literally thousands, if not hundreds of thousands, maybe even millions of them, just littering the Thames. People have been throwing their oyster shells into the Thames for as long as there have been people living near London. But the other thing that you're going to find is pipe stem fragments. One of the interesting things about them is when they're buried in the sand or the clay, they go black. So if it's been freshly uncovered, it's much harder to spot. But they are literally everywhere, these white clay pipe stems that are broken off pipes that people have chucked into the river. They were effectively disposable. You could buy a pre-stuffed pipe, smoke it, and then just chuck it into the water. So that's what people did, by the million, and they are literally everywhere. It's worth a little reminder at this point that the Thames is tidal, and you can't get down and back up from the banks everywhere. So do keep an eye out. It's very easy to get stranded. There are little inset areas where people used to load and unload in days gone by, and those areas can get cut off quite easily. There's one right behind me, just over here. Hang on, I'll turn the camera around. And you can see you could quite easily get cut off there as the tide's coming in now. So I'm heading back to where I know there's a little bit more space and I can get out if I need to. Here's a lovely example of what I was talking about earlier on, the fact that when these are actually in the sand or the clay of the riverbed, even here when it's tidal, these bits of porcelain lose their white colour and they become almost black. This one's obviously been out for a little while because it's starting to turn back as it dries out. It's going back to a decent colour, but you can see that it's much darker. This makes them somewhat trickier to spot. Here's an interesting thing. It's not a pipe stem. I initially thought it was a piece of leather because it's got an unusual shape to it, and I was intrigued because I know there's been a lot of shoes being found along the banks of the Thames over the years, dating back to the early Middle Ages. Turns out it wasn't that at all. It's actually a piece of old green glass. I'll show you it on the ground and then show you how I knew it was lost. You can see it in the middle of the shot there. It's that dark piece that's kind of curved. It looked a little bit like it might have just been curved through being in the water, but when you pick it up you can see very clearly that it's solid, and it looks a bit odd. And the easiest way to tell is to hold it up to the light, and you can very clearly see through it, and it's green. How old that is, I don't know, but it's certainly not modern. But we'll leave it here for the next person to find. So it's not quite a complete pipe bowl, but it's the best one I've found so far. I haven't touched it, so I'm going to turn the camera around, see if you can spot it. Can you see it? I was staring at it for the best part of 30 seconds before I realised what it was I was looking at. Let's get a little bit closer. There we go. Here's the remains of a lovely little pipe bowl, which is definitely the best one I've found so far. So even if you go mudlarking and you don't find a lot, and in fairness, I've not found an awful lot today. There's a vast amount of shards of pottery, various different glazes. There's more pipe stem fragments than I've ever seen, and just an incredible number of shells, but very little to kind of leap out at you to make you excited. But there's something incredibly humbling about this all the same, to know that I'm walking along this stretch of river here, and we're very close to the city, and that people have been walking along this bit of the river, this foreshore, for literally thousands of years, chucking stuff in it, and I'm seeing it, and that's quite something. You know, whether they're clay pipes, whether it's pottery from the Middle Ages, whatever it is, it's quite something. I'm going to have to find out a little bit more about dating stuff, because this is really exciting. So I've got a lovely pipe bowl, and I'm probably going to call it a day and go and find a nice coffee now. Thanks for watching. If you feel like it, maybe like the video, maybe subscribe, that'd be cool. And we'll be putting out some more videos too, and hopefully I'll be able to drag Sammy out and she'll come along with me again. Take care.